In today's episode, you are going to learn how to retouch the natural light portraits in Adobe Lightroom Classic and the Photoshop. Coming up. Hi everyone, I am HarshVardhan, and in today's episode you are going to learn how to retouch the natural light portraits, especially of the children, in Adobe Lightroom Classic and Adobe Photoshop. Basically, we are going to do some basic adjustments in the Adobe Lightroom Classic first, and then we are going to take that image into the Photoshop by creating a dynamic link between the Lightroom and in the Photoshop, and then we will do the advanced editing in the Photoshop, and then we'll come back and both of our images would be synced properly. So if you have never seen this or if you have never done this, make sure you watch this tutorial. And if you are serious about taking your photography and photo editing skills to the next level, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and to subscribe just click the big red button below this video, and don't forget to click the bell icon as well. That way you will not miss any video from this channel. So having said that, let's get started.
Alright, let's first go into the Lightroom, and here we are going to do some basic editing. Let me reset it, everything, and we'll start from the finish. So first of all, I'll go for the auto, and then I will increase the exposure a little bit, not that much. Oops, sometimes actually this pen doesn't work properly. So let me bring it over here. I'm just getting used to it. If this pen tablet, you can see it's causing a little bit problem. So I think over here maybe something like this is just fine. And let me open or bring down the shadows, because I want the shadows to be darker or the background to be the darker. And let's increase its white a little bit and black as well, so that we get more of white and the black. So I'm just bringing it a little bit somewhere over here, and let's try to see or increase the saturation a little bit, so that we get the warmer tone in the face, or maybe not that much. I think -2 is just fine. And let me bring it down, and let's come to the details panel, which is over here, and by pressing Alt or Option I can increase this masking, so that I can limit the sharpening only on the edges. You can see wherever there is a black, sharpening would be applied, and wherever there is white, sharpening would be applied on white, and wherever there is a black, sharpening would not be applied. And increase the luminance and check these lens correction options, remove chromatic aberration, and enable profile correction. In that way it is going to fix the distortion if there is any. And let me add some vignette effect by bringing it down, so that we get the darker area around the subject. And you can see this is the before and after. We have done the basic editing, and now let's take it to the Adobe Lightroom or Adobe Photoshop. And let me first go to the file and preference, and we'll go for the external editing, and make sure this one is selected as PSD. Otherwise, if it is TIFF file, that's very large, so I don't want to work in the TIFF file. I prefer to work in a PSD file. So once you have selected the PSD, press OK, and then select Edit In and select the Adobe Photoshop, and it's going to launch the Photoshop and open this image in the Adobe Photoshop. You can see right now over here, and select subject, and that's going to make a rough selection. That's the intelligent selection of Adobe Photoshop. This is the latest feature, but it sometimes doesn't work properly. You will see right now it takes little bit time to make the selection, and you can see it has made a rough selection, but that's very helpful because you get some starting point. And now using the quick selection tool, by pressing W, I can just refine this selection. So let me just quickly do this. Once you have done this, come over here and select this option, select and mask, and that way it is going to open up this refine as option or select and mask option. Now use the refine as tool over here and start painting on these feather. And if it is not working, make sure you select the smart radius and increase the radius to something like this, and then start painting. That way you will get a little bit better result than that one. Let's change the view to the on white and increase this opacity to 100% so that we can see clearly it only on the white. And then you can adjust this radius to get the result or the proper results. Will not get the perfect result in this image, reason being that the background is very dark and black, and the color of the feather is somewhat similar, so it's very hard for the Photoshop to recognize what needs to be kept and what's need to be removed. So over here as well, so let me paint over here, and you can see now we get the better option or better selection over here, and similarly over here. So we get these small threads that look good. And let me do this over here as well. So you need to paint it with the refine tool or refine as tool option, and keep on painting unless you are happy with the result. We don't want that perfect result in this because we just need to make the background darker. And once you are happy, make sure you come over here and select new layer with layer mask and press OK. And now you can see we have got this on the transparent background. Let me zoom out to see, and click over here and press Ctrl J, Command J to duplicate this layer or background layer. And let's turn this off for a moment and go to the adjustment layer, select curves adjustment, and let's bring it down. Make the background darker because we want it to be darker, and bring down the highlight point as well so that we get the darker result. Maybe something like this. You can see now it has become very easy for us to make it darker. So we need to just grab these points. On the bottom we have the shadows. Okay, or let me reset it and let's try to do once again because that was not good. Okay, maybe something like this, and bring down this as well little bit. Open up and let's create a new blank layer and select the brush tool and make sure the flow is 10%, and using the soft edge brush increase the size of the brush and take the sample from this color by pressing Alt and start painting on this towel so that we can remove these objects and we can make the background consistent or seamless. Let's increase the flow to maybe 100%. Since I am using the pen tablet, I need to press harder or the lighter in order to get the proper opacity. Okay, so you can, if you don't have that, you just need to select the opacity or the flow as 10%, and pressing Alt or Option you can sample the color from the area and keep on painting over there. So let me just quickly do this and come back. Now I have done this, and let me turn this off and on to see the result. I'm just turning off the curves layer or curves adjustment layer, and let's select this mask in the curves and start painting over here with the black so that we get some light in the background, because we don't want that light to be darker. That way we are going to have some extra interest in the image. Now select the blank layer again, and again select the, and I have done that. And let me now select this image and see what result we have. So we can turn off these eyes option on and off to see the result. So let's select the background layer, go to the filter, choose blur gallery and choose the tilt shift. And now let's bring it down. This circle we can drag it and bring it down, maybe something like this, and then we can increase the blur from here. And if you want the bokeh, just increase this light bokeh, and we can change the bokeh color from here, and we can change the even the lighting from here. And you can see now we can bring it more light or the less light, but I think less light is just looking fine over here. So let me just go for something like this and increase the blur a little bit more, or let's see which one looks better. So you can play with these slider, and I think this much is just fine. Or you can see the preview by clicking over here on the top, but I'm going to cancel it because this is not making any difference. So let me select the top layer, this blank layer, and create another blank layer over here. And again I'm choosing the brush tool, and this is again the soft edge brush, or let's choose this bokeh brush. I have created a bokeh brush, so I'm just using this and take a sample from this area and start painting. So if you want this bokeh brush, I'm going to give a link in the description section. You can go and download this, and let me choose some brighter color and make little bit bokehs over here, something like this, and keep on trying unless you are happy with the result, or a little bit over here. Okay, and then go to the filter, select blur and choose the Gaussian blur, and choose the radius maybe something like this, and press OK. And you can see, let me remove this area, paint little bit over here as well. Oops, let me Control Z to undo it, and let me decrease their spacing in the brush settings, and go to the shape dynamics, and let's adjust some of its setting. Let me size or increase the size to maybe 26% or 33%. And now let's paint it over here. Let's see how it looks. Let me Control Z, undo it. Let me have it on a separate layer so that we can blur that out, and then go to the filter, blur, and choose Gaussian blur, and we get this kind of a result, you can see. But I think this is not looking right, so what I'll do, I'll take a sample from this area and remove this completely. Okay, I think that's fine, and paint a little bit over here as well. Oops, I need to choose the different brush for this one, or leave it as it is. Now you can see how we have come so far. Now select the soft edge brush, which is over here, which has 0 hardness, and by pressing Alt, take the sample from that area and paint over here, and take sample from this area and paint. And if you have done something wrong, press Ctrl Z to undo that, and let me press crop and crop it from the top a little bit, and from here let me extend it to something like this and press enter, and you can see we get some blank pixels. So let's fix it, and to fix this we'll create a stamp copy and then go to the filter and choose liquify, and using this tool will increase its size and drag it onto these pixels so that we can cover up all of these transparent pixels. So let me fix it quickly. And I couldn't fix it more than that, and let's increase the eye size by coming over here. Let's make the size to 10, and we can change the eye distance as well from here if we want to, and we can change the mouth. So let's make the height, or let's make it smile a little bit if you want. You can see we can move the lips to make it more smiley, and you can change the eye width as well. So we have a whole bunch of options. You can play with all these settings unless you are happy with the result or the result you want. And thereafter just press OK. And you can see we got this line. Let's fix this. Take the sample from here, and using the brush tool start painting over this area and to fix it. Now let's press crop or C, and let's crop it a little bit, something like this. And now we are going to color grade it. So we'll go to the actions and create a new folder. We are going to create a new action. We'll record that color grading action so that we can save our time later on. And create on this space icon, create and press OK. Create a new action and start going to the adjustment layer. Select the color balance and adjust it according to your liking. So we can target the midtone, shadows and highlights in the color balance adjustment layer. So you can do that and just play with all of these settings unless you are happy with the result. Thereafter select the selective colors adjustment layer by coming over here, and we'll select the red color and we'll adjust that. And we have all bunch of options, so we can adjust the cyan, magenta, yellow and the blacks of the black color. So we have all the individual colors available in this, and we can click and drop down and select then yellow colors, and then we have all other options. So we can play with the settings until we are happy with the result. After, let's select the neutral color and adjust its settings. Then select the black color and adjust its setting. Now select the white color and adjust the settings. Then again go to the adjustments layer and select the curves adjustment and select the blue color and adjust the settings. So we have all the individual options. So we have the blue, red and the green channel, so we can adjust all of these. You can just follow these steps or you can play with the curves. So basically we need to create a point and then we can drag it up or down to add that color. If we bring or drag it down, we're going to take away that color. Okay, so that's how we can color grade using the curves adjustment layer. So you can just follow it. So I'm not speeding it up so that you can learn. And once we are happy, let's select all these adjustment layer and press Ctrl G to group them together and name them as color graded. HarshVardhanArt. So that would be our name of our Photoshop action. And let's press this stop button. That's very important. So now we can turn this on and off. We can see now that we have got our color grading and we have graded our image. Let's create a stamped copy by pressing Ctrl Alt Shift E and then go to the edit and select purge and select purge all. So that's where we will get some free memory. Go to the filter, imagenomics and portraiture, and I have already done this basic. I've selected the basic settings and it makes the skin smoother. You can see right now, if I just press, you will see before and after. So this is basically the default preset, and if I want, I can change its warmth from here, so that way the skin would be less red. And once I'm happy, press OK, and you can see the skin has now become smoother. Let's play the dose and burn action. This is my dose and burn action, and now I have to paint with the white color over here or wherever there is a shadow area. So I have to paint with the white color with 10% opacity. It has already created two of these layers. One is burn layer and second is the douse layer. Basically you have to paint wherever you see the darker area, so that way we'll be burning these shadows and that would give us some extra details and depth. And if you want to get this action is part of my amazing photo editing action. So the link of this is in the description section below. So if you want to get this out, go check this out. So once we would be finished with the burning, thereafter we'll go to the next layer, which is the douse layer, and then we'll paint again similarly with the 10% opacity with the white color. And the better thing or the good thing about this douse and burn action which I have created is that if you somehow you feel that you have done something wrong, you can switch the color back to the black color and paint, and that way that would be removed. So now select the douse and start painting on the highlighted areas. And I have some improved version of this douse and burn action where you will see see this image or any image on which you will play this action in black and white, so that way it is very easy to see the highlights and the shadows, because some people might not be able to see the highlights and the shadows properly. So if you use the black and white layer over it, so that way you would be very easy, it would be very easy for you to paint over the highlights and the shadows. So that way you can douse and burn, and this is how you can get the painterly look to your images. So keep on painting everywhere, okay? And I know it takes a little bit time, but the end result is worth the effort, because everything good takes little bit time. So you have to keep on painting until you get the best result. You can see that I'm just painting on every smaller details, and it will paint over on these eyelids, eye catches, that would make them much more brighter and more catchy. So eyes have to be very sharp and eyes have to be bright in the portrait image, and that captures the attention of the viewer. So it's very important that you work a little bit extra on the eyes, because straight out of the camera you may not get the proper result. Even if you have some good eye catch in the eyes, you must work on that and do apply some douse, and then dosing and burning and then sharpening. And paint over each and everything on the lips as well. You can see right now there is a highlight, so I'm just dosing it, and dosing means making it brighter and burning is making it darker. And you can see I have already covered everything, I think, and you can zoom out and zoom in to see whether you have done a good job or not, and you can see it by turning this on and off. And if you think that it is overdone, so you can always lower down the opacity, and rule of thumb is that you always should turn this or lower down the opacity. So let's create a new layer, zoom in and paint with the white color with the low opacity and change its layer blend mode to overlay, and that way the eyes would be more brighter, though we have already made them brighter with the dosing, but now we are using some white paint with the soft edge brush to make it more brighter. Okay, so you can zoom out and zoom in to see more of the result, and using this you can even paint on the dosing or on the highlighted area of other parts of the image. So we are not using the dosing and burning, but we are using the layer which we have just created for only for the eyes. This is actually a digital painting technique which is very useful, as this brings more detail and realism to the image. Now let's go back to the actions and let me show you how you can install an action. So you need to click over here and select on the load actions and browse the action which you have downloaded. So let me go and find that action which is post editing. So this is my another action. This is part of my now amazing photo editing action, and just open up and it has some options. So one is for the professional sharpening. So I'll click over here and just play it, and I have to choose my radius. So for this I'll keep it as it is, and you can see nothing is happened because we have the black mask. So we will press shift and click over here to disable it, and now we'll using the soft edge brush with the white color and around 50% opacity will paint over the eyes, and that would make them more sharp, and you can see now it has more details and it looks much amazing. You can even paint on this feather and in the hairs, or on the hairs and on the clothes if you want. So successful portrait is which has the sharper eyes and which has sharper details, especially on the face, because that's what works as a magnet and captures the viewer's attention. So wherever you see the details you can paint over that, and that would be sharp. So let me zoom in to show you the before and after. Turn this layer off and on. You can see we have not made some drastic changes, but this changes is really good, and this is enough to bring the attention. But if you will overdo it, then that would cause problem. Okay, so that would cause some halos and that won't look natural. So let me press C to crop it, and let me crop it somewhere like this. You just need to click and drag these handles to crop it. So it's very easy, and press enter once you are done. And now let me open up the Lightroom, and since it is synced, it would be visible over there. Our editing, you can see now our editing is visible over here as well, because we have created a link or dynamic link in Lightroom and in the Photoshop. So this was our previous image, before image, and this is after. So let me show you side by side view. So you can see this is the before and this is after.
So thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit the like button. If you have any question or if you want to say something, leave that in the comment section below. You know that making a tutorial and video takes lots of time and effort, and all I need in return is your likes and your comments and your sharing, because that is going to motivate me to make more and more tutorials for you guys. So thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next episode. Till then, keep shooting and unleash the creative in you. And if you have requests for any tutorial, make sure you follow me on Instagram at HarshVardhanArt and direct message me your request there. Bye bye.